Good afternoon, everyone. I am Carla Sanders, the Cosmic Crone, and I'm here today with the Solar Eclipse New Moon Divine Feminine Astrology reading. Ooh, I love new moons, and I love full moons, and I love eclipses. And this is an eclipse in Cancer. The sun and moon are at 10 degrees, 38 minutes of Cancer. And Cancer is the sign of the moon. The moon is at home, and it's the sign of home. It's the place where you live. It's the place where you feel like you belong. That's one of the hallmarks of Cancer. It's also a place. It's a place of emotions. So this portal, this eclipse portal, is in the place where you belong. It's in the home of your emotions ruled by the moon. It's, I believe that it is a place, this is opening a portal to emotional intelligence, emotional strength, working with your emotions to solve problems, to heal, to create, to really know yourself better. So what an amazing thing about solar eclipses is they happen once every 19 years at the same degree. So they open a 19-year cycle. And as I continue to talk about what's the signature, hi Corinne, it's good to see you. As I continue to talk about the signature of this particular new moon and solar eclipse, I want you to be thinking about what would you like to create in the next 19 years. That's a good chunk of time. That's basically a generation. And I had an eye-opening moment when I looked at my own 19-year cycle. So starting tomorrow, the eclipse is tomorrow afternoon at 3:17 Eastern Time, where I live in Searsport, Maine. And that eclipse is opening and in the entire next chapter of your life. And depending on where it lands in your chart and what's going on in your life, what your dreams and desires are, it will empower your dreams and desires. So tomorrow, sometime during the day, between now and tomorrow, when it happens, I want you to get very clear about what you're wanting to create and begin to imagine 20 years down the road, 19 years down the road. Now, this might be really challenging to do. We have trouble thinking 6 months down the road. I do anyway. I'm pretty much a person of the present or the past. Human beings, we replay the past and then we look at what's right in front of our face and try not to be overwhelmed. And the future can seem very far away, very imaginary. And it is imaginary. It can be whatever we imagine it to be. So I want to encourage you to use this eclipse, this emotional intelligence, this particular axis of the sun and the moon in Cancer, Pluto, Saturn, and Chariklo in Capricorn, and think about what it is you can imagine, who you can imagine becoming over the next 20 years. That's a complete stage of life. And one way to get a handle on it is to look back. Where were you on July 1st, 2000? What was going on in your life? What were you beginning? What were you ending? What were the problems you were solving and the dreams you were having? Because that's when the last time there was a solar eclipse at the 10th degree of Capricorn. Of Cancer. So let's see. Where was I? I was just starting my initiation journey. I had just met the priestess Nut Muankh, who invited me into initiation in the Temple of Women. And I had done my first course with her, which I don't believe was the initiation. I began the initiation the following year. I also began the following year Sun Moon dances with my other teacher, the Native American mystic, Joseph Rael. So I was basically beginning my spiritual path, which gave me so much of the material and the energy and the medicine that I share with you through these readings and through my courses and programs and my articles, writing and art. So this really is the end of a cycle for me. If I haven't graduated by now from my initiation, I declare myself graduated. And I am beginning a new phase of my ministry as the Cosmic Crone. So think about that. And then as I imagine, where will I be in 19 years? I'll be 83 years old. And I am envisioning who will I be as a genuine elder. Right now, I'm a baby crone. I still feel incredibly young and vital and strong, and I do work that I may or may not be able to do by the time I'm 83. But what I will have learned, you see, this is the thing, we can't predict. 19 years is too much time to predict exactly where we'll be and what we want. And still, we can create a picture of it. We can create a picture of where we'll be, who we'll be, what our lives will be like, what things will we have let go of, what things will we have attained, who are the people around us, and where do we intend to live. So this 19-year cycle of the eclipse is incredibly potent. It goes beyond our easy imagination. Hi, Joy. Hi, Jen. It goes beyond our easy imagination and into the realm of deep surges of creativity. Because what we put in motion today will have a life of its own. That's the thing I want you to get. And I want you to do, I invite you, you can do whatever you want, I invite you to do deep, serious ritual and spend some time with your journal and your imagination and your spirit guides, whatever you use, be in your body, be in your feelings, and think, what do I want to set in motion today? In the strongest, most potent way possible, with the clearest intention, because the intention and energy you give it now, and especially in this eclipse moon cycle, because I think the next eclipse is a lunar eclipse. I'll have to double check my signs, but I think so. Hi, Joy, thank you. So this next cycle, the solar eclipse tomorrow, the full moon, which is probably a lunar eclipse on the 16th of July. During this time frame, devote some attention to what you are setting in motion. And you may be completing something that started 19 years ago. And of course, there are eclipses every year. So we've got continuous 19-year cycles. But for some reason, it's really awake and alive for me right now, here in Cancer. Maybe it's because Cancer is one of my signs of creativity. So that's the number one thing I want you to get from this reading and from this solar eclipse. Because for a lot of us, the women in my world, we're between the ages of 40 and 60 for most of us. And these next 20 years are our time. We are totally in fruit. Not only are we in fruit, but we are becoming the wine. We are incredibly mature and full of spirit. So we are not just the fruit, but the wine. And what we set in motion now really needs to carry us as well as we won't carry it. It will carry us. Okay, what's happening? I always look when we've got the portals of new and full moons. I look and say, well, what else is going on? Well, what else is going on is there are 3 other potent exact conjunctions, and they involve the goddesses, so they're my favorite kind. Over in Libra, there is the asteroid Lilith and, oh gosh, the names. Pallas Athene. The asteroid Lilith and Pallas Athene are at 13 Libra. And the asteroid Lilith is the personal disowned feminine. She represents one of the representatives of the feminine wound inside of us. And she is with the goddess of mental strength and strategy. So this moon-sun conjunction is activating strong emotions, and it is square and working in alignment with the goddess of mental and intellectual strength. So our emotions and our intellect, they might be in conflict, they might be working together. We have a decision to make around that. Squares always, these are square, the moon-sun conjunctions, so squares are always about decisions and action. Your emotions may move you. Pallas Athene will tell you how to move and where to go. And then down in Capricorn, more or less opposite, the Pluto-Chariklo conjunction at 22 Capricorn. And this is really close. And you could actually bring Saturn in because the Saturn-Pluto conjunction is active. But they're still pretty far apart. So Pluto and Chariklo at 22 Capricorn. Pluto, death, transformation. Chariklo, the healer. She heals with water and plant energy. And she is the consort of Chiron. So she really carries the feminine aspects of Chiron energy. And she has been dancing with Pluto for a couple of years and has probably the rest of this year to go, that they will still be dancing together. And what needs to die? As you sit here looking, sit for a minute with Pluto and Chariklo and Saturn and feel the container, because Capricorn is a strong container and Saturn is a strong container, and look at the sun and the moon together in Cancer and say, what needs to die? And it could be as simple as you're completing the cycle from 19 years ago and it's done. And so you're putting it away. It's done. It's complete. So that is like a death. Some things in your life you are still clinging to. You're not acknowledging that they're complete. And so you're going to have to be a little tougher on yourself and say, it is time for me to put a line through that, to let that fall away, to let that die, so that something new can come in. This is the beginning of a new creation cycle. And then you have some more help over in Taurus, an exact conjunction between the goddess Vesta and Albion. Now, Albion, until last year, he just got his name last year. He was discovered in 1993, or 1992, in fact. And he was called QB1 because he was the first object found beyond Pluto. And so he carries the energy of the thresholder, the one who helps people cross over. And that is the one who helps people be born, midwives and doulas, the one who helps people die, which are hospice workers and death doulas and oncologists, people in the medical profession are often tasked with helping people die. And people like me who help with sexual healing, who teach about the womb and about orgasm and the mysteries that we carry within our own bodies, to constantly, day by day, traverse the thresholds. We're always crossing a threshold to achieve something new, to retrieve something new, to create something new, to get the information. Every day is a portal. So these make a big, they're not exactly a square, but they are all conjunct right now, exactly, which means they are all telling a story and lending their energy to this new moon. So what would I say be paying attention to? Vesta, devotion, your spiritual path. I've already said, do ritual. Make very strong intentions around this new moon. Lilith, asteroid, is your disowned feminine. It is time to bring her out, to reclaim her, to let her be visible, to bring her forward for healing, to let her tap into the power of her partners in the astrology chart, Black Moon Lilith and Algol, the demonized feminine. She has a lot of support right now. If at this threshold, it could be that for the last 19 years she's been running your life. You've been living in a way to somehow nurture her, keep her safe, keep her from getting triggered, try and be the good girl, because it's tough enough being female already. And she's ready to merge with the divine feminine, Black Moon Lilith, the universal feminine, and Algol, the demonized goddess. And she has Athena to show her the way, because one of the ways that we transform and cross these thresholds is we change our minds. We say the thought patterns and beliefs that we used to have don't work anymore. Letting the demonized feminine run the show is not working anymore. So tap into the strength of Chariklo, Pluto, Athena, and Vesta to cross the threshold and step into your full power. What else is going on? Saturn happens to be exactly opposite the North Node for this particular chart, which triggers destiny. We are all, your own North Node is in its own place in its chart, and your chart and your destiny are uniquely yours. But what this is doing is triggering that this is a moment of destiny. It is a moment where you make choices that will change your life. And what's the other thing? Oh, there is a grand fire trine. Chiron in Aries, and what is basically a triple conjunction of Mars, Mercury, and Juno in Leo, or first 5 degrees of Leo, and Ceres at 1 degree Sagittarius. So what that is, that's like the container. That is the vortex in which this is happening. Fire. In North America, it's the hot time of year, so we are feeling fire. And you want to feel fire. You want to bring fire into this earthy and watery new moon. I'll look at the top of it. Mars and Mercury. Fire, direction, discipline, speed, communication, speaking, using your voice, taking action. And then Juno. Juno is the one that is exactly on in a trine with Chiron. She is social justice, women and children, the sacred marriage. She is an embodied aspect of the feminine that gets things done, that cares about real life, real people, the real matters. She is in the body, the sacred marriage that is physical and sexual, and the reason that matters. She holds her power as the queen of the gods and says what the women need matters, what the children need is important. And Mercury says, let's get it done. I'll do the running around for you. He lends immediacy. What you put in motion now will come out of the gate fast. And so you will need the energy of Chiron, the energy of Saturn, to give it legs, to give it staying power, to be able to run the race. And then this is beautiful. You've got Ceres. She stands for the earth, and she stands for nurturing, and she stands for nourishment, feeding yourself, feeding others. And she's right here. She is on fire, along with all of these other beings, the healer Chiron, and these kind of masculine, get them done, send me, I'll go, kind of energies that are doing the bidding of Juno. Couple of other things. The solar eclipse is trine Nessus. So that is, hi Lindsley, good to see you. Nessus is the planet of healing the lineage, healing the ancestral wounds, and especially as they relate to abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, and those matters. So the portal, if you are in the midst or you have not yet begun your Nessus work, working with healing the lineage of your ancestry, then this new moon is the time to begin that. It's like the new moon is just reaching over and grabbing Nessus and saying, come with me. We have something to talk about here. I need to have a word with you. And the beauty is that both of those, Nessus and the solar eclipse new moon, are trine Uranus and Albion and Vesta that we've already talked about. They're also, no, I said trine, I meant sextile. They're all singing together. So this thresholding work, working with Nessus, you're bringing the past lives, ancestral DNA, the stuff that happened in the womb, that stuff that happened to your mother and your father in their mother's womb, all of that is coming forward to sit right here in your presence right now. How it has manifested in you, how it has shaped you, the challenges it's brought you, and the gifts it's given you, the power it's given you. And we are always, once again, on that threshold, because it's like a river. It keeps flowing forward. We just get better at not letting it take us out, because when we first begin, it's like we need to shut it down. It's too much. It's not mine. I don't want it. Go away. And then we come to a point where we begin the healing, and we think we're healing it, and we think it's all about us. We think I gotta heal what's wrong with me, and then we realize we've been carrying this ancient stuff. And so we start digging deeper and deeper. But what happens when we do that is we unleash our power and our spiritual gifts. The reason we unleash our life purpose and why we are here on this planet right now. And so that Nessus gift, Nessus, he stands, get this, he stands for the healing of those things. Whatever Nessus is doing in your personal chart, he is saying, this is how you heal. This is how you do not carry it forward. So everything you do to heal yourself right now heals backwards and forwards. It changes everything. And so this portal is connected to Nessus, and it is saying, now is a great time to do that work. And typically, it is very rare that we can do this work alone. So you find your healer, you find your mentor, you find the ceremony, the ritual, and it might take more than one person. Because it can be multifaceted, the way it's playing out in your life. Where are the hooks? It might be related to food and body and health and sex and money and sense of purpose and self-esteem, the relationships. So do the work. Do the work. It's worth it. I'm kind of excited because I've been doing the work. And everybody here on this who's listening to me right now has been doing the work and has been helping other people do the work, and it is so exciting to be with you. So tell your people this solar eclipse is the time. Anything else that's significant right now? Oh, gotta mention Venus is opposite the galactic center, which means that there is a great mirror. The black hole at the center of our galaxy, the galactic center, is looking at the golden glow of Venus. Actually, it's more like a silver-white glow of Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, abundance, and amplifying each other. There's some projection going on. In some ways, the galactic center, a black hole that absorbs all light and is holding our galaxy in place, is opposite this brilliant light of Venus and saying, I want that light. Come to me. And Venus is saying, you'll get me in time, but we have a few bazillion years before you'll have me. Right now, I am absorbing your energy and amplifying. Venus is in the light of the sun. She is about to go behind the sun compared to Earth, so we won't be seeing her for a long time. So while she is being eclipsed by the sun, which is a long eclipse that lasts a few months, she's gathering energy. And she is, at this moment, she is tapping into that solar energy of the moon, the sun, the eclipse, opposite the galactic center. And when she emerges, she will have some stories to tell, and we will talk about her more then. That is what I have. And I want to see... Oh, thank you, Joy. Drum dancing, unleashing our life purpose, healing ancestral wounds. Right. People who drum danced with you got ready for this eclipse. Ooh, Jen, that is big. Thank you for sharing that. Let me know if you need anything. And Michelle is saying, complete with the long cycle, let it go with ease and grace. And the thresholder. The fruit and the wine. Yes, we crones are the fruit and the wine. So have a wonderful, wonderful new moon solar eclipse. It's incredibly exciting. And I will see you for the full moon. And be in touch. Talk to you soon.